very well save your life.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we are diving into the tragic story of Jayden Spicer. This is out of Jackson, Kentucky. Now, it's my understanding that his mother has confessed to being involved in his murder, or ultimately being the one who tried to dispose of his body. I do have some questions about this case. How many of you are unfamiliar with the case of Jayden Spicer? Right now, his mother, Felicia Gross, is in custody. So we're going to do a case overview. We'll look at the case and how it relates to criminology, or what we can learn from this case. We're going to compare this case also to the Sebastian Roger case. The reason we're going to do that is that's the first case that came to mind when I started doing my research on Jayden's case. Southern Rose. Jayden's so-called mother reminds me of Leticia Stotch. Hey, Audra. So you're saying you have not? This is a very new case. Jayden Spicer, 10-year-old, was about 5'1", slim build, blonde hair, blue eyes, described as a bright and energetic student with special needs. So there's a lot of similarities between this case and Sebastian Rogers. I mean, it just right from the get-go here. He was last seen wearing blue Sonic the Hedgehog pajamas. This was in Jackson, Breathitt County, Kentucky, specifically the Pan Bowl Branch Road area. So he was originally reported missing from this home here. His mother, Felicia, is not listed under this address, so I don't know who she was living with. I don't know if she had a boyfriend, a new husband. I don't know who Jayden's father is. There's not a whole lot about him online. I don't know his involvement. But early on, his mom even put out this letter here saying, "We love Jayden and we want him safe at home. Please, if anybody sees my son, Jayden Spicer, please report it to the Jackson Police Department. Thank you. We love him very much. Please do the right thing. Call the police. Please pray for us." With an E. And my son, Jayden. Thank you. I thought I had spelling problems. Well, I mean, I do, but. Now here we see another example of compartmentalization. She's able to write this letter knowing that she buried her son. Probably hours, less than a day prior to writing the letter. What's up, Justice? Grunge, what up? 80 to 90% of the time, it's the mother. I'm not so convinced that it is the mother. They found Jayden buried in a large tote. Something similar to this. They found him buried somewhere nearby here, possibly in these very woods. There's Teresa, or excuse me, Felicia. Felicia Gross. And she is, in fact, gross. Justice says, rest in sweet peace, Jayden. She can't hurt him now. She can't hurt him anymore. This story is a lot worse than you think, guys. So I wanted to bring some attention to this. I thought this was a good opportunity for us to kind of focus in on the criminology that was involved in this case and how it affects so many young people and how we might be able to help on social media. I mean, she was all over CPS. She was all over their radar. How could what could have helped Jayden in this situation? I mean, we know families have their problems. You can't just yank a kid out of their home because they're struggling, right? Maybe the clothes were in the tote prior. What do you mean by the clothes? Do you think that she would be capable of digging a hole big enough to bury a large tote? This woman here? I feel like she might have had help or she's protecting somebody. Unless I'm just underestimating how easy it is to dig in this area. Okay, so like I said, this is in Jackson, Kentucky. He was staying on Panbull Branch Road. At this location here, and was reported missing. His mother sent this letter to the media, making a public statement with, misspellings and curious to know if drugs were at play or mental health. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is interesting. That makes a lot of sense. That's what I thought, because that's what we use to kind of create space in our. That's how we store all our crap, in the garage. We throw it in large totes. I was going to grab one for the live stream, but I didn't want to empty it out. But yeah, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Also, another indication of a disorganized offender. Okay, so let's do, we're going to do a super quick timeline. August 5th, 2025. Excuse me. Jayden was last seen at his home around 9 p.m. August 6th, reported missing by his mother, Felicia Gross, at 9:23 a.m., prompting a Kentucky State Police investigation. August 12th, Jayden's remains were found buried in a shallow grave in a plastic tote in a wooded area off Canoe Street, approximately 19 miles from his home, around 3 p.m. So let me see if I have that bookmarked as far as Google Maps. Hopefully, because I was looking at it. Okay, so 844 Panbull Branch Road is where he went missing from. Let me show you my screen. All right. So he was living here or was staying here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I don't understand why his last name is Spicer. I don't believe his um, bio father's last name is Spicer, right? Where does that name come from? Is that his um, mom's maiden name? What the hell's going on with this? Southern Rose. Good to see you, by the way. Jayden had already been out of the home living with his grandma, passed in May, and Jayden went to an aunt, who in turn returned him to his mother. So he didn't want to be with his mom. And apparently there's prior complaints with CPS as well. The case transitioned from a missing person investigation to a criminal homicide investigation. Felicia Gross, Jayden's mother, was arrested and charged in connection with his death. Jayden was reported missing after allegedly leaving his home overnight or early morning on August 5th through the 6th. His mother initially claimed he vanished from their Panbowl Branch Road residence, leading to a week-long search involving KSP, local authorities, drones, K9 units, sonar, and volunteers covering 20 square miles. On August 12th, KSP received new information, possibly from Gross's confession, directing them to a heavily wooded area along Canoe Road. Right there. Jayden's body was found buried in a plastic tote, and his remains were sent to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfurt for an autopsy. Gross confessed to giving Jayden a type of sleeping medication, which she believed caused a medical emergency. Wow. Sounds like Kaylee Anthony. Leading to his death. To the exact cause awaits autopsy confirmation, but the case is treated as a homicide. All right. So what do you guys think so far? What about Felicia Gross? Who is she? See, Felicia Gross, 33, Jayden's mother, from Jackson, Kentucky. Charges were filed on August 12th. She was charged with second-degree manslaughter. That's a Class C felony, up to 7 years in prison. Abuse of a corpse. Tampering with physical evidence. Falsely reporting an incident. 2 counts of tampering with a witness for coaching Jayden's siblings. Let's go into that now. I have the affidavit here. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so charge 1, false report, an incident to law enforcement. Charge 3, manslaughter, second degree. Charge 3, tampering with physical evidence. Charge 4, abuse of corpse. On August 6th, 2025, Miss Felicia and Josh Gross. So who's Josh? Is he involved? Josh Gross. Can anybody in the comments let me know who that is? Has he been looked into? What's his involvement? Is he cooperating with law enforcement? Is he the owner of the home? Who is he? Is he the new husband to Felicia? Because if he didn't want that boy there, that could be motive. Remember, for a sadistic psychopath, murder is always on the table. It's always one of the options. Josh Gross, Felicia and Josh Gross reported that their juvenile child Jayden Spicer went missing the night of August 5th into August 6th, and his whereabouts were unknown. I mean, that reminds me of the Sebastian Rogers case right there. I had never really been suspicious of any of the family members when it came to Sebastian, and I still don't have any proof or anything, but after looking at the details of this case, I couldn't help. I was instantly suspicious. Instantly. A recorded Mirandized interview was conducted with Miss Gross on August 12th at the Jackson Police Department, where she confessed to providing Jayden a type of sleeping medication. Miss Gross further stated that the medication caused Jayden to have a medical emergency, and she believed that he had passed away from this medical emergency. I feel like that's exactly what happened to Kaylee Anthony. Right? Mom's going to go out and do what she wants, party, do drugs, sleep around. I'm just going to drug my child. She won't even know it. She'll be nice and rested. Right? That's the mind of the sadistic killer. Miss Gross further stated in the interview that she had transported Jayden's body to a wooded area on Canoe Road near the mouth of Joe Little Fork. So let's take a look at that. Oh, sorry. Let me remove that. Share my screen again, and we're going to go to Google Maps. So, right, geoprofiling a killer. Why do we geoprofile? Look at the pattern here. Right, so she drove from the residence, dumped the body here. Right, I hate that word, dump site. Because that's what these criminals are thinking, right? I'm just going to dump this trash or this object. I need to hide this object for self-preservation. It's not a person to them. But look at what can we learn about geoprofiling from this case? I mean, look at the anchor point here. Exactly 30 minutes. But something interesting about this area, it's a cemetery. So this is kind of giving me some mental health vibes, maybe a little bit of psychosis perhaps. Little Cemetery Road. So this is where they're telling me that the crime scene are where they found him, the quote unquote dump site. Joe Little Fork Road and Canoe Road. And smack dab in the middle, you have Little Cemetery Road. This road is not maintained. But why do I feel like that's the road that she took? See it? So apparently there's a cemetery in these trees back here. I don't see any fresh tracks. June 2024. So, I mean, it doesn't look like anybody's using this road. What is that, hemp? Is that just a bunch of weeds? What is that shit? Alfalfa? Here, I'll show it to you again on the map. So that is referred to as Little Cemetery Road. I have a feeling she went back there. Does it go all the way through? Doesn't look like it. Oh, tobacco. Okay, thank you, Andra. I was like, what is that? Is it wild tobacco? Boston says, how cruel and sadistic of this lady. How freaking twisted and sick. All she had to do was adore and love this precious child. She didn't want to. She was too busy. You know, after looking at this letter, I mean, this looks like drugs. To me, that looks like drugs and mental issues. What's going on? Jill Moser, Susan, and Sensei. What's up? Just says they grow it everywhere in Kentucky. Sounds nice. I thought about growing tobacco. Be nice to make your own cigars. Cuban style. So somewhere in this general vicinity here. Hmm. Okay, so she was charged with second-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, falsely reporting an incident, 2 counts of tampering with a witness. So she's cold-blooded enough to dump her own child like trash. She's also able to compartmentalize what she's done, right? She's able to separate that and make a public statement and to make a public cry for help, knowing damn well that she buried her own son after killing him. But I have a feeling that she's not the only one involved. How does this woman here, how does she bury this and carry this, transport this, right? There's a boy in there. There's a human being in there. So we're talking at least 100 pounds, right? I don't see her doing this alone. So in the chat, let me know how you feel about that. If you guys are with me on that, if you guys are, kind of catching those vibes. That's how I feel. I feel like she did not do this alone. Typically, when you have somebody like this who hurts their children or a family annihilator, it's because they're able to shed their own family members kind of like a snake sheds skin, right? Oh, I have a new love interest. I'm just going to shed my old family that I was wearing. It's basically they just wear it as a shell anyway, right? Hiding in plain sight. I'm gonna wear this family like camouflage, like Gary Ridgway. Remember when he would, to lower the guards of his victims, he would open up his wallet and be like, here's my ID. But really, he's not showing his victim the ID. He's showing them the picture of him, his wife, and his child, his son, together. So they don't even look at the ID. They're just focusing in on that image, and they let their guards down. So it's all by design. So think of Chris Watts. Remember, he killed his entire family without even batting an eye because he had a new love interest. Scott Peterson, same thing. So that makes me think she did it for a reason. Who did she do this for? Right? The person that she really cares about. And sometimes psychos who are also sadistic killers, they don't love that individual. They just like that individual. They love what they're able to do for them and how they make them feel. So it's not like they even love them. They just love what that person does for them. That's the part they appreciate. It's all self-centered. I don't think she did it alone either. She could have had done this alone. She could have had done this alone. Yeah, I think she could have. Um, but I just don't see how. I mean, I think she could have picked up the tote, would have strained her back, but she definitely could have picked it up. Um, knowing this location, is she familiar with this location? Whoever picked this location, we all know by reverse engineering the crime scene or the dump site, it was familiar to this person. They knew about it. They thought about it. Or they knew about the road. Hey, I'm going to drive out here. It's very rural. I'll find a place out here. So they select these areas because they're confident that nobody's going to see them doing this. The whole object of what they're doing is to not get busted. Right? How do I get from point A to point B? Point B being hiding the evidence and not going to prison. If you're disorganized and panicking and high on drugs and suffering from a mental health issue, that's going to be written all over your decisions. It just doesn't, she could have, Audra, let me make that clear. She could have. I just feel like she didn't. I think she had help. First of all, why is she motivated to giving this child this medication to put him to sleep, to cause a medical emergency? What's motivating her to do that? Is she trying to please somebody? Is she trying to have fun? Is she trying not to worry about, she can't raise her kids anyway. He was living with his grandmother and she died. Things were probably going really well. He was getting attention. He was probably getting the nutrition that he needed, possibly even medical care. That's just general, that's just common sense stuff when you're raising kids, right? Constantly looking after their health, staying ahead of any potential issues. That's something a grandmother definitely would do or try to do. But at that point, mom over here gets complacent. Felicia Gross, right? Begins getting back into drugs, living a single lifestyle. I don't have kids. Grandmother dies. They don't want to send him with mom, knowing who she is. We'll try to take him. But maybe there's some issues with Jayden. He's suffering from some things. Maybe he's hard to handle. Maybe he has his own issues. And maybe he was hard to care for. Now, Jayden's thrown right back into the home with this single parent, right? This Casey Anthony type. Doesn't care, probably psychotic, sadistic. All they want to do is do what they want to do. Do drugs, have sex, stay up all night, party. Some people never grow up out of that. They never grow up out of that teenage phase. She's not a parent. Like, I can't take care of this kid. Like, I'm addicted to these drugs over here. So what am I going to do in turn so that I can go do what I do? I'll just block out my own child by basically drugging him so that he goes to bed, and I don't have to worry about him. I'm back to being single all night until the morning, and then in the morning he can wake up and take care of himself. And maybe she was doing that over and over and over again. YouTubers Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures found the crime scene. What's going on with that, Southern? Was she unable to? Did she cover it? Did she completely bury it? Those details do matter. Okay, Gross admitted to administering sleeping medication, burying Jayden's body in a wooded area near Canoe Road and Joe Little Fork, and coaching her other two children on what to tell police during interviews at Care Cottage and Hazard. She is held at Kentucky River Regional Jail on a $1 million bond. Gross pleaded not guilty at her arraignment, with the judge appointing a public offender. Her preliminary hearing is scheduled for August 18th. Let's see. What was I going to show you? Oh, yeah, this part. All right. So this is the charge tampering with the witness. Two of Jayden's siblings were interviewed at the Care Cottage in Hazard several days prior to this confession. Ms. Gross admitted to coaching the siblings into what to say during the interview. That's disgusting. Ms. Gross was placed under arrest and transported to KRRJ, where she was lodged. It didn't look deep enough to cover it. Okay, then that makes more sense. Because I would definitely be expecting a very disorganized crime scene if it was just her, right? Struggling to conceal the body. Oh my God, what do I do now? First time, working alone, confused, maybe under the influence. And then there's the geoprofiling, right? This disorganized person, if they would have never found the body, or if they found the body later on and didn't know who to tie it to, who to tie Jayden to, then we would never know that Felicia was involved. But for her, she was willing to drive exactly 30 minutes, almost to the second, and said, "Rup, that's far enough." Because what's she trying to accomplish? She's trying not to get arrested. So she's trying to put Jayden somewhere where it doesn't look like it's tied to the home where the crime actually happened, right? The crime didn't happen. He was abducted and taken 30 minutes from home, and whoever took him decided to leave him here. That's what they were going to go for. That's what a lot of killers, that's what their objective is, right? So it makes me wonder. I cannot help but think of the Sebastian Roger case. Sebastian Rogers, right? I mean, it's the exact same story. We can remove Jayden's name and swap the age from 15 to 10, and we're looking at the same case. Hey, what's up, Louise? Good to see you. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's look at some of her history. Felicia. Court records show Gross has a prior history with Child Protective Services. In 2017, she pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of endangering the welfare of a minor, serving a year in jail. It's unclear if this involved Jayden. Records from 2013 and 2019 indicate her mother, Shirley Johnson, sought child support from Gross. So Shirley Johnson is the one that passed away, his grandmother, and she was seeking child support from Gross. So you can see the conflict there, right? Like, I'm taking care of your special needs child, and you're not even helping me, right? So I'm wondering if he could have possibly have been a handful. And that's the case. You have to be prepared for that. very patient. There's some very special parents out there that deal with a lot with their kids. So I have a lot of respect for those of you out there who deal with that. So kudos to you. Possibly related to Jayden or his siblings. CPS ordered Jayden to live with Gross after his great grandmother's recent death. So it was a great grandmother. The Breathitt County community rallied during the search, raising over $3,000 in rewards, with Father Jim Sicko. So is that the father? I'm so confused. With Father Jim Sicko offering $2,000 for Jayden's safe return and later pledging to cover funeral expenses. The community expressed grief, with Commonwealth's attorney Miranda King noting Jayden was now in good hands. That's heartbreaking. Let's hang out in the chat for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about what we can learn, talk a little bit about the criminology of this case, and then we'll look at the comparison to Sebastian Rogers and just see if there's anything we can learn about that case. Remember, they haven't found him yet. And when you don't have answers, all you really have are questions. Okay, so familial homicide and child maltreatment. The case exemplifies filicide, the killing of a child by a parent, a rare but critical area in criminology. Gross's alleged administration of sleeping medication leading to Jayden's medical emergency and death aligns with patterns of neglectful or unintentional filicide, distinct from deliberate murder. Let's look at the strain theory. The strain theory was presented by Robert Agnew. I recommend it. Taking a look at that. Gross's history with Child Protective Services, CPS, and a 2017 misdemeanor for endangering a minor suggest chronic stressors, financial strain, single parenting, CPS oversight. These may have culminated in reckless behavior like administering medication improperly and a maladaptive coping mechanism. It was her way of chloroforming her own child so that she can continue leading the single or drug-infested lifestyle, I'm assuming. Gross's coaching of her other children to mislead police indicates learned deceptive behaviors, possibly from prior CPS interactions to avoid accountability. So what do we call that, guys? We call that the evolution of a killer, right? They learn from their mistakes. I don't want to stop beating my children. I don't want to stop starving my child. I'm just going to get better at hiding it. I don't need to stop it. I just need to conceal it. When the cops come, I won't let them in this time. I'll groom my children and threaten them that if they don't say what I tell them to say, they're going to face harsh punishments. So they evolve. So the only way these criminals are evolving is by having experiences, fledgling experiences. All right, what about the psychological and behavioral part of it all? Let's see, Gross's actions, administering medication, concealing the body, tampering with witnesses. Well, for me, this suggests a complex psychological profile, blending negligence with calculated cover-ups, compartmentalization. Her behavior may reflect impulsivity. And what can be learned by this case? Criminologists can develop profiles for at-risk parents, focusing on prior CPS involvement, mental health, or substance misuse. Gross's 2017 conviction is a red flag that could inform predictive models. Her tampering with witnesses and false reporting suggests post-crime manipulation, a trait criminologists can study to identify deceptive patterns and familial homicides. With that being said, let's move over to the comparisons with Jayden and Sebastian. Okay. Both cases involve young boys who disappeared from rural areas. Jayden Spicer, a 10-year-old from Jackson, Kentucky, vanished from his home in Breathitt County in August. Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old with autism, disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee in February of 2024. The rural environments with challenging terrains like mountains and bodies of water complicated search efforts in both cases. In both cases, the boys were last seen at home with no clear evidence of how they were missing. Jayden was reported to have gone to bed in his Sonic the Hedgehog pajamas, while Sebastian was last seen in his mother's home late at night or early morning. Initial investigations in both causes treated the disappearances as possible runaways or abductions with no immediate evidence of foul play. Right? Very interesting. I mean, if Sebastian was picked up by some predator who was grooming him, I feel like we might have seen some signs of that. Something left behind. Some type of footprint. Maybe even him being seen on security footage nearby. I don't know. It's just eerily similar. Both cases have drawn public and investigative scrutiny due to the behavior and statements of the children's parents. In Jayden's case, his mother, Felicia Spicer, actually her name is Felicia Gross. So this must be her maiden name, had a prior child endangerment charge, and her handwritten plea for his return was analyzed for inconsistencies. Similarly, Sebastian's mother and stepfather faced criticism for vague or inconsistent statements, fueling speculation about their involvement, though no evidence of foul play has been confirmed in Sebastian's case. So it is highly debated. So what do you guys think about that? All right, let's look at some of the early reporting here. Okay, let's say that they didn't find him. Let's say they never found Jayden. Oh, no sound? Okay, hold on. These are all just short, like a minute and a half, so it's no big deal. There we go. But answer that question in the chat. I mean, where would we be if she didn't confess, continued with the charade, was crying on television, doing interviews, the whole Mark Redwine thing, compartmentalization.
Missing from eastern Kentucky nearly a week after he
What's up,
vanished.
Shadow?
Crews have been searching for Jayden Spicer in Breathitt County. Police say they were told he went to bed Tuesday night but was missing Wednesday morning. His two aunts are now questioning some of the information that has been given about what happened.
There's some stuff that just doesn't add up in this case. And as two aunts and mothers, we've questioned a lot of the information ourselves.
State police say it's been all hands on deck looking for Jayden. Multiple agencies are involved in the search and rescue. Now they are expanding the search, but as each day passes, officials say time is working against them.
You think about a 10-year-old child who is, if he wandered away from the residence and is by himself walking through the forest, he's got no resources with him. So you're racing against the clock as far as getting him home safely. But we'll never.
A 10-year-old.
Okay, I think I did grab a few other videos and also the presser, and then we'll kind of hang out and have a quick conversation about what we've gone over today about the case relating to Jayden. But we don't have a lot more here.
The mother of a missing Breathitt County boy is in jail tonight, accused of killing him. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Marvin Bartlett.
And I'm Andrea Walker. 10-year-old Jayden Spicer was last seen alive last Tuesday. Earlier today, police found his body buried about 19 miles from his home in Jackson. State troopers say his mother, Felicia Gross, faces several charges, and we've learned she has a criminal record.
Allie Root is live in Hazard tonight, where a news conference wrapped up a little while ago. Allie, what can you tell us?
Marvin, Andrew, tonight we've learned that Jayden's mother, Felicia Gross, is actually here in the Kentucky River Regional Jail after she was taken into custody earlier today in connection to her son's death. She's charged with second-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and falsely reporting an incident. Kentucky State Police says troopers received new information this afternoon that led them to Canoe Road in Jackson. That's where they found Jayden's remains buried in the woods. His body has since been taken to the medical examiner's office in Frankfort for an autopsy. Commonwealth's attorney, Miranda King, made it known tonight that there will be justice for Jayden.
All over the world that love and care for this baby. Because of that, I would like to assure the public that now,
he's in good
thanks
hands.
to these guys, Jayden is now in good hands.
It is our top priority to protect the integrity of this investigation and seek justice for Jayden.
The investigation is still in early stages, so police.
All right, guys, this is going to be our 5-minute warning. Thought I had a little bit more time. So if you have anything to add and you would like it on record, say it now. You can also email me about the case at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Here, let's read some of my afterthoughts here. The case exposes systemic gaps in child welfare and criminal justice, particularly in monitoring at-risk families and preventing escalations from neglect to homicide. CPS's failure to prevent Jayden's placement with a mother with a criminal history reflects weak formal controls. Stronger oversight might have mitigated risks. Gross's prior CPS interactions and 2017 conviction may have labeled her as a problem parent, yet systemic follow-through was inadequate, allowing escalation to fatal neglect. There you go. There's my email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, you can just go to sleuthintuition.com and my contact information is there. We are 100% crowd-funded. So if you feel like you can help financially, hit the Cash App. That helps with gas money and doing a lot, mainly the boots on the ground stuff that we like to do. We like to take you guys on that journey and bring you right there to the crime scene, and so that we can do our own investigation. So if you want to help with those things, hit the Cash App. But if you can't hit the Cash App, just hit the like button. Consider becoming a member. Share a video on X. You can show your support that way. So I guess we would like to advocate for data-driven risk assessments, integrating prior convictions and family history to prioritize vulnerable children like Jayden, who have special needs. What's up, Rain Dancer in the building? It was good to see everybody. Sensei, Boston, Shadow, always good to see you, Shadow. Beth, Jill Moser, Audra, Louise, and everybody else. And everyone in between. Yeah, rest in peace to Jayden Spicer. You know, some folks, they just have a really rough life right from the beginning. And then even all the way to the end, it's just a nightmare. I don't know how we stop it. I don't know. Like I said, guys, it's always about personal responsibility. If you as an individual are doing everything that you need to be doing, especially taking care of your children and things like that, you know, the basic things in life, really the world would be a perfect place if everybody was pulling their own weight, not pointing over here, not pointing over there. Just do what you need to be doing. You don't have to be dominating the workforce. You don't have to be the top earner at your firm. You don't have to be any of that shit. Just do the basics well, right? Take care of yourself first and foremost, and take care of your immediate children. Personal responsibility. Just imagine what this world would be like if we all just did what we already know was right. But the truth is, we have people who are sadistic. We have people who are not only sadistic, suffering from personality disorders, mental health issues, basically maniacs. They don't even know where to begin when it comes to taking care of, you know, personal responsibility. What's up, wife Lilith? Welcome in. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. We try our best to understand these people, but it's just not logical. There's no logic to it. So let me know what you guys think. Did we learn anything about Sebastian's case at all? Should we be very suspicious of the people who were in the home that he went missing from? Are we jumping the gun? Just because one case has a certain list of evidence that matches another case over here, circumstances are the same, similar. The victimology and the criminology are almost identical, other than when it comes to the victimology, the age. But we also have the broken home, the issues with the child, medical needs. So I don't know. I feel like we might be able to learn something here. Thank you, Boston. I appreciate that. Thank you for your continued support. Big shout out to all my moderators. Thank you guys for keeping the chat chill. All of my members, paying members, you guys, paying to be a member and supporting me monthly. 100% the heartbeat of my channel. Big shout out to all the new subscribers. You guys rock. Hopefully you hang out and stick around. We stay busy on this channel. And thank you all for participating in the chat today. If you're part of the replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment and we'll get back to you. Boston, thank you for sponsoring today's live stream. And rest in peace to Jayden Spicer. I hope that he gets the justice that he deserves. I hope they do a thorough investigation to see if there were others involved. Because what happened to him should never happen to anybody, ever. Especially to a child. Yeah, replay crew, we haven't forgot about you. We love you guys. We know you're busy. We know you got stuff going on today. Right? You can't catch every show. But that's why we'll try to catch you in the comment. And don't hesitate. If you guys need to reach me for whatever reason, just email me. Holla at your boy. But on that note, guys, I'm going to catch you on the flip side. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
I rest my case.